then maybe there's a conversation to be had about how much you're cosplaying. Cosplay fame. Has anyone heard of, does anyone have any thoughts on this or feelings? I have a lot of feelings on this concept. Yeah?
Like, for me with cosplay fame, it's like, I tend to follow people on Tumblr that are famous for the cosplays, but as long as it's not like, pardon my language, as long as it's not an ass towards people. Because like, as soon as you start being mean towards people just because you're famous and cosplaying, that's when I'm just like, nope, you are not worth it, no matter how good you are.
Absolutely.
I think as far as cosplay thing goes, like, you guys, for example, like, you very much, like, inspired me, and you always have a very positive attitude. You follow you on Tumblr as well, and, like, people ask you guys for all kinds of advice, and you always have something positive to say. So, like, you're using your name, essentially, in a positive way. So, I think there's, like, a good and bad side to it.
Yeah, like, so what I have to say about this is essentially like well, maybe not that. Like, I'll get asked the question how to become cosplay famous. Fact is, I don't know. Fact is, I don't think I am. Fact is, I don't think she is. There's a pretty significant element of fluke involved of getting noticed online. It's all random chance. The people who are cosplay famous, some of them are really good at craftsmanship, may not have very good personalities. Some of them are super good at, have super great personalities, may not be very good at craftsmanship. Then there's us, and we are not, well, you're good at craftsmanship, I suck at everything I do. So, as to where, like how I'm here, I don't know. It's just random chance, like right place, right time. There are a lot of amazing cosplayers out there who don't have a whole lot of followers. It's not reflective of how good or bad you are, and you can't really make it happen. Sometimes it's just like you cosplay a really popular series at a time, and your picture gets circulated, and suddenly, woo, things happen. But it's not something you can like consciously pursue, and I think that really frustrates people. But at the same time, why would you want to? Because it doesn't actually mean a whole lot. Like for me, I just see it as like a way to like make a lot of friends, which is like the most it means to me. Just like the fact that I get to talk to a lot of people because I'm really awkward, so me going up to people is really hard, so they come up to me, yay! Good, I don't have to make that first approach. Fantastic. That's the best thing about it.
You can't put cosplay on a resume.
No. And hierarchies, as we saw from the first slide, are entirely subjective too. So if you ask anyone who the best cosplayer in the world is, they wouldn't give you an answer. Or they would give you an answer, but it would be different from the next person because it all depends on what you're into, what you find to be a good cosplay. Also, fame is often more about charisma than it is about anything else. Think about the most famous actors on the planet. Are they like the Shakespearean pinnacle of acting? No, absolutely not. Or we would see sexy pictures of Anthony Hopkins and Sean Connery. No, not Sean Connery. But like really like Shakespearean classical actors on front of magazines instead of like Robert Downey Jr. I think he's a good actor. I do not think he's the best actor, especially like technical skill-wise, but he's got a lot of charisma. Same with singers. You know, like it's about things other than just raw talent. And then the talent also factors into it too, but a lot of it's just like, when did you release your first single? What type of style do you have? What type of crowd are you appealing to at that time that got you to where you are?
It's like Taylor Swift's new album, where like she started off as like this cutesy country singer, and now she's more into like the pop rocky. I don't even know. But yeah, so like everyone was freaking out and basically bashing her new album because she wasn't sticking to her country roots. So it's kind of cosplay, I guess.
But the bottom line is no one deserves any more or less respect than anyone else. So a famous cosplayer doesn't deserve to be treated like, and I say this honestly, a famous cosplayer doesn't deserve to be treated like some sort of like, you know, person on a pedestal. Just as
still taller than me.
Yeah, girl's still taller than me. There we go, and he always will be. So no one deserves to be treated like they're on a pedestal, and no one deserves to be treated like they're dirt. We're all people. cosplay doesn't sort of give you that free pass, right? Into like, everyone brings me my lunch because I'm famous. Well, get your own lunch, you're perfectly capable. We ran into a situation judging a cosplay contest where we're with another cosplayer, who I will not name because that's rude, but they were judging as well. And you could tell maybe some of it had gone to their head a little bit, because we were judging, we were trying to get through the line as fast as we could, about 100 people, maybe over that, and we didn't get through the line for pre-judge. Everyone was pretty upset. I totally understand, like, you stand in line for an hour and you don't even get pre-judge. That's bad news. So we were sitting there and we were talking about what we could do, and I said, well, why don't we just send like a few of us behind stage, we'll quickly prejudge everyone, or we could do it as a group. We could get them like prejudged in like 20 minutes, that's fantastic. She said like, oh, I don't want to move them too cold. And then my response in my head was, they're paying for you to be here, maybe you should move, or maybe you should like you volunteered to be a judge, like give respect to these people who've been on their feet for 2 hours. He said, no, I'm just gonna stay here. So I got up as Endymion and just rushed backstage, got everyone prejudged in 20 minutes, it was fun. But, fact is that, you know, sometimes it can go to people's heads, and, you know, because you're a cosplay judge, you're still able to stand up and walk around, right? You're able to get your own things, do your own laundry, I hope. Otherwise, again, we have more to talk about. I used to be a victim of this. Self-perpetuated victim. I used to be really elitist for a while. Like, I was super into myself, I was talking down to people, I thought I was and it showed, right? I started acting really badly to other people. I started putting like other people down, thinking I was the best, thinking I should get everything. And I sacrificed relationships for it. And then thankfully my friends came to my rescue and said, hey, so you're being a really big, and you need to stop doing that. And I listened to them, and I'm thankful I did, because now I'm able to take criticism, which was a huge thing I couldn't take before, and it's made me a better person in every respect, I think, being able to take criticism. Also, I'm not, you know, this big jerk walking around the cosplay community, and I'm really thankful for that. So, if your friends are saying you're a jerk, wait, where's the camera? Listen to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, should we just skip past the two double standards? Okay. So double standards, this is easier to illustrate with the slideshow, but we're going to have to make it work. Free cosplays. Does anyone know what this would look like if I were in free cosplay right now? When I say free cosplay.
Spandex.
I mean, shirtless man with swimming shorts on. That's what free is. They're men in swim trunks. So recently I came across two pictures posted on a thread about free, and one was like female free cosplayers, so they're also in bathing suits, but they're women. And the other ones were guys in bathing suits, but they're men. And the response to the women's side was like, oh, look at those cosplay sluts. You know, like in there, like showing off their bodies, you know, in women's swimming gear, you know. Like, how dare they? That's just so trashy. The response to the guys was, oh, they're so hot, coitus, ooh. Doki doki my heart. And that demonstrates a double standard, right? In that one is slutty and one is doki doki my heart. When really, they should either both be doki doki my heart, or both be slutty. I think they're both doki doki my heart, personally. But you can think what you want. This double standard also comes along, like, with, say, race. It shows up. There is, I know this guy, he's an amazing Sora cosplayer. He's made all his own stuff, which I have not. He cosplays Sora, his own Keyblade, fantastic. He is black. So, when people have referred to him, that I've heard, they've said, have you seen that black Sora? I don't think they're trying to be offensive, but then when they see me walking around, or sometimes even Jenna, it might be like, have you seen that Sora? So he gets a prefix on his cosplay, and I don't, right? Based on race. When I think we should just both be Sora. In fact, he should be good Sora, and I should be needs a little work Sora. If anything. This also comes along with gender. So, again, with Sora, I was wearing, it's actually her costume. So I was wearing her costume at a con, walking around, And this person came up to me, they're just like, can I have your picture? And I said, sure. And then they said, oh my god, a male Sora. That makes you so much better. Why? I wasn't even wearing my own cosplay. You don't know if I made this. Why does that make it better? Just because I have a deep voice? There are things you don't know. Wouldn't you be surprised? Anyway. Is that enough, or do you want to touch on that a little more?
That covers.
Yeah, double standards exist. But one important thing is that we all learn from each other. So, has anyone ever been to the school for cosplay? Good answer, because there is none, to my knowledge. Yeah, there's a school for cosplay. I thought about making a cosplay summer camp, but then I thought about how expensive that would be. So there is no cosplay school. Most of us just learn from the ideas and suggestions of others.
Did anyone have someone teach them how to sew?
No.
A lot of people. And did anyone get taught how to make anything to do with cosplay? Like, so resin casting, wig styling, prop making, sanding, anything like that. I think a lot of people have. So it isn't, like there's this idea that like if you do something the same way as somebody else, you're copying them. Really? You've learned something from them and you're incorporating that into your own skill, and that's how skills get passed on. Can you imagine the first guy who learned how to read was like, I'm going to teach nobody else? How dare you copy me? Go find your own way to learn how to read, right? Humanity would just stop. Benwell.
We have the projector finally.
Oh, okay. Well, coincidentally, we're actually like near the end. And we can just talk through the rest of this.
I figured.
No worries.
We finally got through the locked door that we couldn't get through.
Did you break it down?
I was tempted to claim that somebody is trapped inside.
Fire hazard.
I'm sorry, guys.
No worries, it's fine. It gives us more time for Q&A afterwards, or talking, or telling weird stories. Okay. So yeah, we all learn from each other. And if, for example, there was a time a while ago where we made these certain props for Naruto because I saw somebody else do them. And somebody suggested, oh, you should do something similar, so we did. And more than two economies people approached us because they happened to be there and said, like, we're actually really pretty stole our idea. And at first I was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your idea. I imitated your idea because I thought it was really cool. You know, it was coming from a place where like I admire your stuff. I'm not trying to take anything away from you. But the fact is, it had been done countless times before by other people. You know, if you think you're being original, like if you're doing a cosplay, you're copying somebody else's idea to start with. Also, somebody else has probably done it.
Yes.
I once had someone online brag about this exact hat actually that I copied from someone else, and I looked at the link and it didn't look anything like this hat, and I'm like, I based it on a pre-existing character. I'm not stealing any of that, but anything like both of them did the same story. Anything at all like that.
And no offense, but toothless hat, what a novel idea! Like, you know, people make hats for everything. It was only a matter of time until someone made a toothless hat. A 7-year veteran might learn as much from a newbie as a newbie from the vets. So just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you know everything. I've been cosplaying for 7, I always look at you whenever I need a time. 7 or 8 years, that's a long time. I'm still learning new. I've learned new things today from people who could be cosplaying for like a much shorter time than I have. I learn new things every single con I go to. Because, you know, just because you've been cosplaying less time doesn't mean your ideas are less.
And another example, there's a friend of ours that has been cosplaying for, well, just over a year now, and we used to do this really complicated method of making armor where we would take like this malleable, almost like a baking tray or something. It was like a malleable metal. We would cover it in craft foam to get the shape. And then he came over and we were making armor, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna turn on the oven. We're just like, why? And then he's just like holding the craft foam over, pushes it against his shoulder, and it stayed in shape. And we were just like,
you've changed our lives!
So now we know that craft foam can be shaped by heat. No, we didn't know that.
And we wouldn't have known that if he hadn't come over and shown us. Also, encouragement can mean the world. Who remembers like being like a newbie cosplayer and having like somebody at a con who was just like dressed as like Princess Elsa? I don't know why I pose like this for Princess. This is my Princess Elsa, or my Queen Elsa pose, like right here. This is my old cosplayer. You want a picture? Yes. Like say like a really amazing cosplayer who's just come up to you and been like, I really like your costume. Like who's had that happen to him? It means the world when it happens. So like you're never too busy to just say to somebody like if you really like their costume, you're never too busy or too good to say I really like your cosplay. It doesn't bring you down, it only brings them up. So why not?